there's going to be $550 million dedicated to this program, to the Global Talent Visa program. And that is going to be spent over 4 years. And that money is going to be invested in finding global talented people outside of Australia. So they created skilled global talent and business attraction task force. And they're really gonna go for it. They wanna find more people with this program than give visas to skilled permanent applicants. It's important to understand the borders are closed for people who have temporary visas. So the borders are closed for tourists, for working holiday makers, for students, but the border is not closed for people who have a permanent visa. And the Global Talent Visa is a permanent visa, and it can get approved very quickly, as you're gonna see very shortly in this presentation. So the government knows we are losing talented people who could be working in Australia, who could be entering the country with a student visa and then getting sponsored, or who could be coming into the country via a working holiday visa, via a temporary sponsorship visa. All those people are stuck outside. So we need to bring skilled, talented people via a permanent visa, and the government has chosen the Global Talent Visa as the visa to be given to skilled people while the borders are closed. Because if you get a Global Talent Visa approved tomorrow, you can come to Australia the day after tomorrow, because it's a permanent visa. So we've always had a visa called Distinguished Talent Visa. This visa used to be, and still can be used for people who are talented internationally and have outstanding talents in sports. So for example, athletes, artists, academics. We've got this visa for people who are martial arts athletes, dancers, photographers, people in the sciences, jiu-jitsu fighters, with you name it, with Muay Thai fighters. We've, over the years, we worked with a lot of athletes and artists. But the government in 2018 announced that as part of this visa, there was going to be a part of the visa dedicated to professionals via the Global Independent Talent Program. But with the pandemic, the government decided, okay, let's ramp up these visas and these places, and let's use this visa more for professionals than for athletes and artists. So there's only 200 places a year for artists and athletes, whereas there's 15,000 places for professionals. So I think it was in November last year, they created just one visa subclass. We used to have an offshore subclass 1 to 4 and an onshore subclass 858, and they became just one visa. And in February this year, they changed the name of the visa. So instead of being called Distinguished Talent Visa, now the visa is called Global Talent Visa. And there's 2 streams. People can still apply as artists, as athletes, etc., under the Distinguished Talent Pathway, but the professionals need to use the Global Talent Pathway. And this is not just for any professionals. We are seeking certain professionals who work in some target sectors, and they must also have some sort of international recognition. As I said before, this is a permanent visa, so whoever gets it granted can come to Australia, even if the borders are closed. This permanent visa will allow you to stay here forever. You can work unlimited, you can start a business, you can buy a house, you have access to Medicare, which is our public health system, many other things, and you can become a citizen later if that's what you want. The visa costs $4,110 for the first applicant. If you have a wife and children, there's more fees, but just to give you an idea of how much it would cost. Of course, there would be other fees, health translation of documents, if you want to hire a migration agent, and so on. Now, because there's only 200 places for the distinguished talent pathway, people have to wait around 2 years to have a visa granted. But because there's 15,000 places per year for the global talent pathway, these visas are applied in 2 months. Now, this is 2 months after the person has been invited. The question here is, how long is it going to take you to be invited? If you are familiar with general skilled migration, it can take 2 years for an invitation to come around. It could take never. There's a lot of people waiting who may never be invited. With the global talent visa, it's much faster. So we're looking at people who get invited in 1 week. And sometimes I think the one that took us the longest time to be invited was 5 months. Now that there's more places, the invitations are coming in even faster. But what is this invitation? I can't lodge a visa application for you if I decide, okay, I think you qualify, I have a look at your CV, I have a look at your information, and then I say, I think you qualify for this visa, let's prepare and lodge your visa application. I can't. First, I need to lodge an expression of interest. I need to tell the government that you are interested in this visa. Then the government's going to do a preliminary assessment and see if you really have what they're looking for. If they believe, yes, you have the profile they're looking for, then they invite you. And then I can lodge the visa application. So all in all, the process could take 2 to 6 months maximum. And you could potentially have a permanent visa in that period of time. You can lodge this if you are in Australia, if you are in another country, it doesn't matter where you are. The good thing about the global talent visa is that there are no occupation lists, so they don't change as much, but you still need to be from a certain industry, a certain sector. There's no skills assessment, so you don't need to, for example, if you're a data science IT professional, you don't need to apply for a skills assessment to get your profession recognized in Australia. And there's no points test. Another very good thing is that if you're looking at general skilled migration, the maximum age is 45. With the global talent visa, the maximum age is 55. If you're looking at general skilled migration, and by that I mean a points tested visa, the 189, 190, etc., you need to have advanced English, sometimes having to score 8 on the IELTS exam. This one, you only need intermediate English, 4.5 overall, for example. Then we need to start looking at what are the requirements for this visa. So again, you need to be working in one of the target sectors, and we're going to look at them soon. You need to show not only that you work in these sectors, but that you are highly skilled and that you have an exceptional something about you, that you are a talent, you are a recognized big professional in this area. We also need to show that you will be able to have a job when you come to Australia, that your skills are good and that you are not going to, struggle and end up driving a taxi, and that you have the potential to earn what we call the high income salary threshold, which at the moment is $154,000 a year, not a month, a year. People who are recent doctorate graduates, they don't need to show their salary potential, but it's good to show it anyway. Now, if you are not in Australia, the hardest part could be to have a nominator. So we can help you find a person or an organization in Australia who would endorse you. We would say, okay, you don't have any contacts in Australia. You are from the biotech industry. We try to find someone in this industry that would be very prominent in their field, and they would say, okay, I believe your client is a very good biochemist, biotech professional, and I'm willing to nominate that person. So if you are already in Australia, if you are studying here, sometimes a university can be your nominator. Sometimes a professional body can also nominate you. So we help you with that. But those two last requirements there are the core for this visa. They're the most important parts of this visa. One, I want to, be able to show that you are an international talent. And two, we need to find someone in your field that will agree with us. This is completely different from the general skilled migration program where, we're looking for engineers. I look at your CV and I check if you, as an engineer, if you meet the requirements, if you have a bachelor degree in engineering, if you have X number of years of work experience, if your English is good enough, etc., etc. I need to show via documents that you meet those requirements. With the Global Talent Visa, I need to show that not only you work in certain professions, but that you are very, very, very good at that. And I can't just say, yes, my client's talented. We need to show via a number of things that you are talented. For people who are more in the academic world, there's scientific journals, there's magazines, professional websites, professional institutions. And if our clients have published an article or a white paper on these mediums, it could be a way of showing they're special. Now, if you have a title such as Lord John Smith, because that was granted to you because you were, excelled yourself in a certain field or profession, we can also use that if you are the CEO of a company and so on. If you are famous, if you are, if what you do professionally has taken you to appear on TV programs, websites, magazines, and etc., we'll use that. And if you are a recent PhD graduate, then you're already halfway in because the government's really inviting a lot of people who completed PhDs, especially if you're finishing a PhD in Australia. Now, what are the sectors? Who are we looking for? What does Australia want? We're looking for these people that you can see here. So we're looking for, there's a very large technological component to this. So technology applied to mining and infrastructure, anything to do with agriculture. So using technologies and systems to improve the production of foods, the commercialization of foods, anything to do with that. Technologies applied to the health and medical fields in pharmaceuticals, better ways of treating people when they're sick, the whole technological part of it. We're looking at financial services and fintech. So for example, people who create apps for banks or payment services. We're looking for everything to do with the military and space missions. So we're looking at parts for ships and rockets and everything to do with defense and space travel. We're also everything to do with advanced IT. So if you are a network administrator, if you are a very good software developer, that might not be enough. We're looking for people who deal with data science, big data, advanced maths and statistics, artificial intelligence, robotics, quantum sciences, and so on. We also have a huge need for cybersecurity professionals. And also technology applied to education. So learning platforms, learning systems, learning apps, teaching apps, and so on, especially now where everything became more online than usual because of the pandemic.